Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Yet again, I'm so thankful that you're here. Towards the end of April, I had my 4-year BookTube anniversary. Is that how we call it? And I asked for you to give me some questions to do as kind of a way to celebrate 4 years and to help some of you who may not know me as well. Maybe you've just started following me recently, to give you a chance to get to know me better. And so I have some answers for you today, and we're going to jump right into that in a moment. I also, in that video, ran a giveaway for $20 on Amazon, and I asked, in order to enter the giveaway, for you to share with me a book that you read in part because of my influence. And it was so much fun seeing all the books that you guys mentioned. So many of you mentioned middle grade, which is so much fun. And I'm going to do a whole separate video talking about all those books. But I did want to do the giveaway right now. I had 67 entries, and I just put them into a random number generator. The winner is number 39, Reader Turned Writer. So Charlie from Reader Turned Writer, congratulations. You are the winner of my $20 Amazon gift card. So if you could message me down below or shoot me an email, my email address will be in the description, and I will also reach out to you. But congratulations, Charlie. You are my winner. I'm thrilled that so many of you have picked up books because of me. That really just makes my day, and it's kind of why we're here talking about books in the first place. Now we are moving on to the Q&A. I'm putting my computer away, and I shouldn't because I need it. I did a little bit of planning ahead for some answers, but not for many of them. I just decided I'm gonna wing it. I did divide them up into kind of questions about life and then bookish questions. I'm gonna start with the questions about my life, and then we'll move into the bookish questions, and I'll put a timestamp down below if you're just interested in the bookish ones. But if you wanna get to know me a little bit more, here's your chance. I mean, I try to share a little about my life in my vlogs and in other videos, but here we go. Christine Heckman asks, how long have I been a nanny? And I have had so many jobs working with children, but strictly as a nanny, as my kind of full-time paying the bills job, it has been since I moved here to Richmond. So about 2.5 years, coming up on 3 years this summer. Debbie Faust asks, when is my birthday? It's July 7th, coming up this summer, July 7th. Amazon wish list is in the link, is in the description box below. JK. Yeah, July. My birthday is 7/7, and I was born in 76. I always tell my mom if she just waited one more year, she'd have had a perfect child. 7777. But yeah, 7/7 is my birthday. If I could live anywhere, where would I pick and why? That's a good question. If I could live anywhere, I am a bit of a wanderer. I have this 6-year plan. Not really a plan, but it just seems to happen that I live for 6 years in a place. So my first out of college place that I lived, I was there for 6 years, and then I moved to Pennsylvania for 6 years, and then I was in Massachusetts for 6 years, and now I've been here in Virginia for 2.5. So my mom keeps asking where I'm moving next, and I honestly have no idea. I do prefer living a little bit south. I really actually like the climate of Virginia very much because we get all 4 seasons. They are evenly spaced throughout the year. Winter doesn't take over and heat doesn't take over. So I really like living here, and I like that I'm driving distance to the ocean, and I like that I'm driving distance to my mom and other family up in New York. So I feel like I'm pretty content where I am right now. I mean, it'd be fun to live overseas, but only if I had a family coming with me, a husband, children, all of those things. So in the moment, being single, I'm happy living in Virginia. When did I become a Christian, and how did it come about? So a little bit of my testimony, Kelly asks. I grew up as a pastor's kid. My dad was a pastor, so I grew up going to church always. And I was very, very young when I first decided to accept Jesus into my life and ask forgiveness for my sins. So I was probably 4 or 5 years old. And I've never had a time where I turned away from God. I've definitely had struggles, and I've definitely had areas where I've needed to grow, and I still do. But I feel like I have loved the Lord my whole entire life, just about. What would my favorite meals be if I could eat anything I wanted for an entire day? Kelly also asks this one. Ooh, I'm a huge breakfast fan, so that's difficult, but I would probably say French toast because it's not something that I eat often. If I go out for breakfast, I'll sometimes get French toast just because I don't make it at home very often, because I don't often have bread at home. But yes, French toast. Let's just imagine I could eat all of these things in one day too, because usually if I have a big meal, my other meals have to be smaller. But let's have French toast for breakfast. Let's have a big ol' taco salad for lunch. Ooh, I love taco salad. And then for dinner, maybe, oh yeah, it's kind of in the same vein as taco salad, but I don't crave pasta ever. So I'm gonna go with chili. My friend Mindy gave me the recipe for her chili and I absolutely love it. So I want Mindy's chili for dinner, taco salad for lunch. I want French toast for breakfast. And I would never eat all of those things on the same day. Favorite dinner recipes. Mindy's chili. I love making tacos of all kinds just because it makes really good leftovers. So I eat that quite a bit. Another go-to is a white chicken chili in the crock pot. I just love pretty much anything in the crock pot because it makes meals that last for days. I'm pretty simple. I'm not a very in-depth eater. Like I don't like recipes that take forever. I like quick recipes. Mary from Happily Ever asks, what's my favorite physical place and to show some pictures? Whew. This is hard because I've been blessed enough to travel to a lot of different places. My first trip on a plane at all was right after college. I went to England, Scotland, Belgium with my really best friend at the time, and we were there for a month, and I don't have digital pictures of those because it was like before the days of digital cameras being popular. So I have lots of prints of that. From that trip, definitely the Lake District in England was just so beautiful. I love places with stunning nature. The last couple years my church has gone to the Dominican Republic and there's this one overlook, and I will put a picture of this one. The Dominican is a gorgeous country and there's this one overlook that's just stunning. But I think I'm gonna say Letchworth for my actual physical favorite place. I'm gonna say Letchworth State Park in New York. It has these gorges and waterfalls and it's stunning, and I will put a few pictures in here. I always used to say that I would love to get proposed to at Letchworth, which is unrealistic now, but still could happen, right? I just think it's a beautiful place to go for a hike, go camping, go stand by the waterfalls. Yeah, that's one of my favorite physical places. Okay, and then Kim Cantor asks, I'd like to hear about your younger years growing up, your family, your early reading habits. Did your family instill in you a love of books and reading? Yes, most definitely. Both of my parents are readers. My dad was always reading. He was a very slow reader, but he loved to read, and I always remember waking up in the morning and seeing my mom sitting in her chair before I got up reading. Usually reading her Bible, but she was always reading something as well when she could. She was super busy because I'm the oldest of 8 children, but we adopted 6. I have one biological brother, and until I was 12, it was just the 2 of us. And then when I was 12, we adopted a sibling group of 3. When I was 15, we adopted 2 more brothers. And when I was 18, we adopted my little sister, Rachel. So there are 8 of us. I'm the oldest, and I'm 18 years older than my youngest sister. We are not all readers, but probably about half. Yeah, so I feel like they were always reading to us when I was really little, and I remember riding my bike to the library when I was little, like 10, 11 years old, when I had that ability to go by myself. I would ride my bike to the library that was a mile from our house, and I'd come home with a stack of books, and then a week or a week and a half later go back and get another stack. So I was always a big reader. All right, we're gonna change gears and go into some bookish questions. Some of these are gonna be harder than others. I'm gonna do my best, and let's see what we get. Shelby from Read and Find Out asks, what books resonate with who I am as a person? This is a really tricky question. Nothing jumps out to me other than, like, Anne of Green Gables is a book that I've loved from a child until now. So I'm gonna say Anne. Also the Narnia series, because I've reread the Narnia books and I've reread Anne many, many times. I haven't read the whole Anne series over and over, but I've read that first book many times. And the Chronicles of Narnia, I've probably read that 5 or 6 times, maybe more in my life. As an adult, I've probably read through the whole series 3 or 4 times, and then quite a few times as a child. So maybe the Narnia series, but just not because I necessarily relate to them as a person, but because they have such nostalgia for me. So maybe those ones? I don't know. Let's see. Leah Wilda asks, what are a few books for you that you haven't been able to shake the characters and you continue to think about them for days after you've finished reading the book? Okay, so I've thought about this one, and I definitely want to say books that are based on true events. So I thought about some fiction ones, like We Were the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter. The characters in this story are all based on the author's extended family. So like her grandfather and his siblings, like his generation. It happens during World War II, and it's how they all survive. So because it's based on those true events, I definitely feel like I think about it a little more. And then also I want to say Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. This one stands out to me because I didn't realize it was based on true events until maybe halfway through the book, and it was just so incredible to me that there was this woman, Georgia Tann, who stole children from their families in order to adopt them out, and that while they were in her care, in her home that she was running, they were abused in so many different ways. And that was incredibly intense to read about, and I did a big Google dive afterwards of like looking up this history. It was just shocking to me. Another one that the characters really stood out to me, this one is not talked about that much, White Chrysanthemum by Mary Lynn Brock. This is another World War II historical fiction about two Korean sisters during the war, and one of them is captured and is forced to become a Japanese comfort woman, basically sold into sex slavery, not sold, but basically forced into sex slavery, where she had to comfort the Japanese soldiers. And it was just horrifying, and this story definitely stayed with me for a while after reading it. And then two nonfiction that kind of go hand in hand. Just Mercy was my favorite book of 2019 by Brian Stevenson, where it looks at the justice system, particularly in Alabama, and particularly people who are on death row that are wrongfully convicted, and how that happens and why and what he is doing about it. And then The Sun Does Shine, which is still in the running for my favorite of 2020. Anthony Ray Hinton is one of the cases that Brian Stevenson took on. He spent about 30 years on death row for a crime that he did not commit, and this is his memoir. Oh, it's so incredibly moving and challenging and inspiring and like unbelievable, and yet believable because it happened. It's true. So yeah, these two books definitely stuck with me after reading them quite a bit. Okay. And okay, favorite author, Novelle Novels asks what are some of my favorite authors. And easy pre-BookTube days, I would have said Francine Rivers and Ted Dekker, because my reading has come in stages, and right before BookTube time, I was reading a ton of Christian fiction. I still read some, not nearly as much as I was, and those were easily my two favorite authors. Since starting BookTube, I have so many. I'm gonna say Kristen Hanna, because I read The Nightingale pretty early on in my BookTube journey and absolutely love her. I've been collecting books by her. I have quite a few over here now and absolutely love the way that she tells stories. Is it the most literary writing or like most beautiful writing? Definitely not, but she can get to my heart every single time. And so I have loved Kristen Hanna. Another favorite, it's right here, Frederick Bachman. I currently have read everything of his except the novellas. So Frederick Bachman by far is another favorite since starting BookTube. I probably have like 10 more, but I'll just say those two for now. Bree from Call Me After Coffee asks if there's been a character in a book that I really see myself in. And I have a hard time with this one too, but I think what I landed on is the oldest sibling in both the Penderwicks and the Vanderbeekers. I love these middle grade books that focus on kind of larger families, and so there's a lot about the oldest siblings in these two stories that I can relate to. Being the oldest in a big family, there's the level of responsibility that you feel, and the care, and the kind of decision-making ability, and all of these things that I can definitely relate to as the oldest in my family. The only character in an adult book that really jumped out at me when I was kind of looking through my shelves and looking through my Goodreads is Anne Elliot from Persuasion, and in part because of the way that she cares for her family and the way that she has become content in her singleness in that in-between period. So I can relate to that. I would love if there was a Captain Wentworth in my life. There's not at the moment, and I wish there were, but I love the way that Anne cares for her family and kind of sometimes looks more to the interests of others than herself. I strive for that. I don't always succeed, but that's something that I strive for. So I love her in that book. Carrie Hatcher asks, why middle grade? Why not middle grade is what I want to know. I love a book that makes me feel good when I'm reading it. My main purpose in reading, for the most part, is to be entertained and to sometimes escape. I don't know if escape is the right word, but I love reading because it makes me happy. And so when most middle grades have an overarching feeling of hope and redemption and love and family and friendship, all of these things that are feel-good feelings, why wouldn't I read them? Middle grade does not shy away from some of the hard things in life, but it always brings it back to kind of a hopeful place. And I like to think that that's how I think about life. So yeah, I love middle grade, and I will continue to read middle grade. Okay. Carlotta asks, how many books can I read in a year, and what kind of books do I prefer? So I set a Goodreads goal, but I don't care if I meet it or not. I just read when I can, and I definitely have been reading more since starting BookTube than I did before. I've always been a reader, but it's become more and more of a priority for me in the last few years. So I don't have a goal of like, I'm going to read 100 books this year, I'm going to read 150 books this year, or I'm going to read 80 books this year, or 50. I don't care about the number. I just read because it's what I like to do, and I prefer reading over pretty much of anything else. And then what kind of books do I prefer? I always will say middle grade, and I'll always say historical fiction are what I prefer. I'm in different moods at different times. I read a little bit of everything. Lately I've been reaching for more kind of romance as its foundation. That's a rare thing, but it's been happening lately. And fantasy is something that I don't read a ton of, but I do really enjoy it, and I have been reading a lot of fantasy lately. I don't pick up horror in general just because I do not like to be scared. But I have read Bird Box, which is a horror. So I'm kind of willing to delve into different genres. What is the thing that you've enjoyed most about being a booktuber? Cheryl Will asks that one. So many things. Definitely connecting with people has been the best part. Like, I have friends that I talk to all the time. I have friends that I talk to not all the time, but quite a bit. People that I have in my life now that I can 100% attribute to this channel. So that has been the best thing. Whether it's through buddy reading, group reading, through my Goodreads group, connecting with people through middle grade March, but just any kind of connections that I make with people that I wouldn't have met outside of this venue has been just super cool to me. I absolutely love that. Perfume Girl asks, other than the Bible, if you could only read one book for the rest of your life and it had to be something that you've already read, what book would you choose? Ooh, that is a difficult question because you're in different moods at different times. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna run to the store and buy a bind up of the Chronicles of Narnia because I know they have that. And I'll just say that because I've read that multiple times, and I'm sure I'm going to read it many more times throughout my life, and I like it. So that's just my easy go-to answer. That's a hard one. If you could visit any fictional place, where would you visit with End the Pages? Let's go to Hogwarts after the events of book 7, right? After Voldemort has been taken care of, let's go to Hogwarts because that would be cool. Magic, good food, fun building, old building, beautiful grounds, Hagrid, McGonagall. Let's just go to Hogwarts. That'd be cool. Bree asks a couple questions that I'm not going to go into too much because I think I'm going to do that, what's it called, BookTube oldie tag that's been going around recently. So she asks about how has my reading changed since I've started, and like differences I've seen in the BookTube community and BookTube trends that have faded away, and advice to new booktubers. I think I'm going to save all of that for the BookTube oldie tag. So those answers are going to be coming. Amanda asks from the Curly Reader, who are 3 of your auto watch BookTube channels? So many. April from Getting Hugga With It started soon, around the same time as I did. Or maybe a year after me. I don't know. I feel like I've been watching April for a long time. She's definitely an auto watch for me. Katie from Life Between Words, because she's my middle grade March friend and she doesn't post all that often. So when she posts, I absolutely love it. And then I'm going to also say Sarah and Lindsey, combining them. My girls who did the Christmas gift book exchange thing with me this year. And I talk to Sarah and Lindsey almost on a daily basis. So I love those girls and watch all of their videos, pretty much all their videos. I can't say that I get all of them in because I just follow so many people. But yeah, that's 4. Sue me. What is a non-book related YouTube channel you love? And I don't have many, honestly, because I just watch a lot of BookTube. But recently, John Krasinski's Some Good News, I absolutely love his YouTube channel, and I've been watching that lately. And I think that might be the only non-bookish one that I'm watching at the moment. I just don't watch non-bookish YouTube. Kay Fleck asks, have I seen my reading taste change during the years of doing your channel? And yes and no. I mentioned that I was reading a lot more Christian fiction before I started BookTube, and I think this is going to be answered in that BookTube oldie tag as well. But when I first started, I was reading a lot of YA because that's what I was watching. And I just dove right into that category of books. And that has tapered off quite a bit in the last couple years. But yeah, I've definitely seen my taste change, and we'll talk more about it in that other video. Have I ever thought about writing a book? Alicia from My Creative Life. Nope. I have absolutely no desire to write. I love to read, but I am not a writer, and I don't have ideas for books that pop up into my head, and I don't enjoy writing. I mean, I did good on essay exams when I was in college. I could BS my way through an essay pretty easily, but I was also the senior English major taking all of her papers to the writing lab to get corrections and edits from them. So yeah, writing is just not my jam. What author would you most like to meet in person? Leaster Rocks asks. What author would I most like to meet in person? Oh, that's a good question. Who would I most like to meet? Like to sit down and chat with? I feel like I could be friends with Bianca Murray. So I'm just going to say that. Let's go have coffee, Bianca. Except I don't drink coffee. But she's cool and she has a South African accent, so I'm down with that. When you post a TBR or a book haul video, do I get discouraged when someone comments that they don't like the book? No. Terry asks this question, Terry W. I don't get discouraged. I love to hear people's reactions to books. I don't go looking for reviews usually before I read a book because I like to go into it kind of blind. However, I'm totally fine with people saying that it wasn't the book for them. I actually appreciate that because sometimes it helps me adjust my expectations, especially if I feel like everybody else has loved it. It's good to hear when someone hasn't loved it. Because I've gone into books with super high expectations before and then they kind of fell flat for me. So I don't mind at all. I actually love it when people let me know, like in a TBR video, oh, I read that and I didn't care for it, or I didn't like the characters, or whatever. As long as you don't give spoilers, I'm totally down with hearing different opinions or unpopular opinions or negative opinions. Yeah, I'm down. I want to hear it all. Nick asks, what middle grade character that I might want to be friends with? Well, I'm going to say the Penderwicks and the Vanderbeekers. I would totally hang out with those two families. Although the Vanderbeekers like animals way more than I do. Actually, the Penderwicks like animals too. They both have a sibling that really loves animals. Yeah, and I'm not an animal person. I'll join the friend group of Anne of Green Gables. She would make me a little crazy sometimes. I'd be Diana's best friend. What? Well, let me see. Who else would I want to meet? Like Tilly and the Book Wanderer. She's got that adventurous spirit and she loves books. Yeah, we can meet Tilly. I'd hang out with her. And then Ambi from Ambi Crafts Reads asked me a ton, and I'm going to go really quick through these. Favorite book? Not answering. Impossible. A book that isn't talked about enough. I already mentioned White Chrysanthemum. As far as World War II historical fiction, I feel like this one has completely flown under the radar, so I'll say that one. A favorite place that I've lived? I love right now living in Richmond, but I also I've loved every place that I've lived for different reasons, but Lancaster, Pennsylvania was a lot of fun. So I'll say that one for now. Which book would I jump into if I could? We're going to Prince Edward Island. We're going to see Anne, and I really would love to see Prince Edward Island. Oh, so badly. Is there any genre, author, or book that I'll never read? And I'm going to go with horror or like erotica. Whoa. Like 50 Shades. No desire to read the 50 Shades trilogy or I don't know how many there are. So yeah, I'm not into those kinds of books, which I've already mentioned. Desert Island book, TV show, movie, and food. Okay, Desert Island book. Something that like inspires survival, right? Hunger Games, maybe? Let's get a bind up of the Hunger Games. That would be a fun Desert Island book. I don't know that it really helps, but we'll go for it. TV show, Survivor. Because it'll help you on a desert island, right? Movie. Oh, what's that one? Castaway? I haven't seen that in so long. But I love all the Pride and Prejudice retelling adaptations movies. The fun ones like Austenland and like Bride and Prejudice, the Bollywood one, and then the BBC strict one, and then the 1995 Keira Knightley one. Love all of them. All of them. 1995? Did I mean 2005? Whenever the Keira Knightley one came out. Love that one too. Not 1995. 2000. Maybe 15. I don't know. Whenever that one came out. 1995. Desert Island food. Let's pack things that are going to last, right? Canned food, and no, you can't get into canned food. I don't know. Rice. Beans. Pineapple. I don't know. Editing advice. Ooh, I'm not very good at editing. Watch YouTube videos to learn whatever program it is that you are using. I use iMovie. It's pretty simple and basic, but I have had to kind of learn as I go. There are some things that I cannot do with editing, but I, at this point, am still not willing to pay more for an actual editing software. I'm just using what I have with my phone. What music do I like? I am not a big connoisseur of music. If I want something classical, I always play Brahms because I love Brahms. And if I want something with words, it's almost always worship music. So I'm not up to date with any other kinds of music because I don't listen to a ton of music. And if I do, it's because I want to learn some songs for church. So worship music. So favorite songs, singers, bands, not applicable. Disney, Pixar character, not applicable. I don't care. And I already answered the other one. So that's going to do it. That's going to do it for me. That's a lot of questions. And this is getting to be super long, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for caring and like watching this Q&A, watching these answers and asking questions. If ever you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I always say, I love talking to you in the comments, so anything else, let's chat down there. So if you ever have questions for me about life, about books, about anything, let's chat. You know I'm down to chat with you guys. I love it. I have absolutely loved that I've been a part of BookTube for 4 years. I have taken like teeny tiny breaks here and there, but nothing major. Like I've pretty much been consistent with at least a video a week, sometimes a little beyond a week for a while there, but about a video a week for so long, for 4 years. I do so much more than that now. I'm kind of averaging 2 or 3 a week these days, which is amazing. We just have extra time. Thanks, quarantine. But yeah, I love you guys. I love that you're a part of this corner of the internet with me. Let's chat in the comments. I would love to hear from you what book has stuck with you, like the characters have stuck with you or the story has stuck with you. I'd love to hear that down in the comments below, along with anything else, because like I said, you guys, I love chatting with you in the comments. So let's talk down there. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Charlie, I'll be reaching out to you about your giveaway win. Congratulations. And thanks for sticking around, guys. And I will be doing a video soon sharing all of those, or some of the books that you guys have read because of my influence. I'm so excited about that. And I'm going to be doing that BookTube oldie tag soon as well. So you have some things to look forward to. I hope that you're doing well today, and I hope that this video brings you a little smile on your face, and I will be talking to you in another video very soon. Bye.